In this video, I'm going to assume that you know how to play your scales, that you studied scales when you were learning to play piano and studying classical piano whenever that was, or maybe it's currently. And you know how to play your scales either a little bit or a lot, maybe proficiently or maybe just a little bit. And what I'm going to talk about is the joy of scales. When classical students are learning, scales can take on this sort of dreary, unfun, robotic thing where you're trying to be so precise, and your teachers tell you they build strength in your fingers and strength in your arms and their precision, and you're going two-handed, and etc. And you can get pretty good at them, but they're often just like that. 4 octaves, up and down, play really hard, play staccato, all of these different things that you're supposed to do. What happens when you're improvising is these scales become your best friend, and we only have to use one hand, our right hand. Your left hand isn't going to do much in the way of scale work. It's very specialized when the left hand is playing scale runs. When you're improvising and you're playing pop styles, playing jazz standards, or just improvising in any fashion, generally the right hand is doing all the scale work. Now, a lot of students I work with believe that D flat is a difficult key, and they try to avoid it. They've tried to avoid it their whole lives because the fingering is a little bit funny in classical music. It's a little challenging, and for some reason the black notes are just kind of scary. I don't know why. The scale of D flat or C sharp. When we studied the scale in classical music, we put our index finger here on the D flat and then crossed over here, cross over again, and there we are, back down the same way. Let's look at this in a slightly different way. We know it has 5 black notes and 2 white notes. Let's look at it as a collection of notes here and a collection here. And next to these collections, the first white note you can get to the left is where we're going to find our white notes. First one to the left. So grab your hand like this and just move it like that. Those are the notes of the D flat scale. They fit the hand so wonderfully. The curvature of the hand, it's a natural curvature. And then when you go here, you've got the same curvature happening. So it's just really, I guess the modern term would be, it's an ergonomic fit. It just matches the shape of the hand. If you put your hand on a flat surface, it's got that particular shape to it, and it just moves that shape right over to the keys. You don't get this on too many other scales that we play. So what we're going to do here is not start on D flat, and that's going to make the whole thing roll much easier. We're going to start on C, and by looking at it in groups like this, what you've got to do is just move your thumb. You can almost leap your thumb up there. Depending on how smooth you are, your own level of agility, it doesn't matter, and you don't have to go fast. Sometimes I get a little carried away and go very fast. Now the thumb fits under pretty easily. Fits under pretty easily again. So what we're actually doing in theory terms is playing a mode of this scale by starting on the 7th tone. If we play from the 7th to the 7th, it's called a mode. But we're not going to worry about that particularly. We're just going to think about this scale and every scale that we play as being a collection of notes, 7 notes, and they start or stop anywhere within those 7 notes. They don't have to start and stop on D flat like we trained ourselves in classical music. We have this idea, because that was our training, that's where it starts and stops. We'll go to the mode here. We also don't have to start and stop on the mode. They're just arbitrary points in the scale. You pick any place to start and any place to stop. I'll start going in the opposite direction here with these 4 notes. I'm just leaping from one spot to the next. And here it's only 3, here it's 4, and I could go the other way. The term I like to use all the time is messing around and just seeing what possibilities you can come up with. So start at any note. You can start here. Now let's back the camera up and let's see how we can just flow all over the keyboard with this D-flat scale. First, let's just try to run up and down several octaves, starting on the C note here, and we're just going to take our first 3 and jump up. Try it like that first, just running each one 2 or however many times you want. You could do it 3 times. It's asymmetrical, right, because you've got these 4 notes here and these 3 notes. But it doesn't matter. It's all going to turn into one big roll. Did I hear somebody say something like, hey, but what about the left hand? What do I do with my left hand? Well, the left hand does a lot of different things, has a lot of different roles in our improvisation and our popular piano playing techniques. But let's get dramatic. Let's take some of that classical drama we love so much and put it into this little exercise. Let's play some octaves in our left hand. The D-flat scale walking down, just hit a nice big firm D-flat. Hit it really good, make it really loud, let it ring, hang on to it, and start walking down the scale, just like that. And I'm going to start swooping around with my right hand while the left hand is walking down. So. Back up in my left hand. Like that. I'm not keeping time. I'm not keeping a pulse, really. I'm not counting like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3. I'm really being free. I can put the meter, there is no meter. So I'm free to strike the notes whenever I want. Let this hand swoop away. In my professional life, I've met so many fantastic, fabulous pianists with such incredible agility at the piano, but they make all of their music reading and interpreting great classical works. They have no idea how to take any first step into improvisation. So if you're one of those people, you can take some of these ideas, if you haven't ever thought about it before, and really have a lot of fun, loosening up your scales and just being creative in all sorts of ways. If you start to get the hang of this and you have a lot of agility or enough concentration to get into it, you might want to do different things with your left hand and maybe keep things more steady sometimes. You could like take a rocking octave like that and get this. It's all what you want to do, what you feel like concentrating on, or your ability to do so. There's a lot of different things you can do. You can start pulsating this. And so forth. So really, the sky is the limit, according to your own sky and your own limits. I hope I've given you a new way to look at the key of D flat on the piano, and I hope you'll never look at it the same way again. Now my next objective is to help you see the other 11 major scales in a new light also, so that you'll never look at them the same way again either. Let's take a look.